Hi, I'm Barry Baker, auctioneer and owner of Ohio Real Estate Auctions. Let's take a few minutes and talk about the auction process if you're a seller. If you're going to sell a property at auction, you should have two things. Number one, motivation. Number two, equity. We get a lot of calls from sellers wanting to sell their property at auction. Not everybody's right for an auction. If you don't have enough equity in your property, you're probably not an auction candidate. If you're interested in selling your property at auction, make sure you contact us, whether it's by phone or email. We'll set up an appointment to talk to you either by phone or meet you live at the property. Sometimes we never even meet the seller. We've sold many properties for sellers that are out of state, and it's just inconvenient for them to come into town. Let's talk a little bit about time frames, budgets, who pays for what, and what type of auction that you will have. Typically, time frames for an auction are about 30 days once we meet with you and decide this is a good thing to do. Once we have the auction, we give the buyers usually up to another 30 days to close. You can spend as much money or as little money as you want on an auction budget. You have to market the property. If you have $1 million property, we're probably going to ask you to spend around $20,000 letting the public know about this auction. If you have a $20,000 auction, we're going to try to spend less than $1,000 to try to make your property stand out. Typically, budgets are paid by the seller. We will design a budget, go over it with you, you will approve it, and we'll stick to that budget. In Ohio, there's two ways to sell your property at auction. The first way is an absolute auction. An absolute auction sells regardless of price to the highest bidder. We've sold hundreds and hundreds of properties at absolute auction. The other way to sell a property at auction is with a reserve or a minimum. If you do a reserve or a minimum bid auction, you want to make sure that that minimum bid is low enough to get people excited about your property. Leading up to your auction, we'll give you a progress report as often as needed. The day of the auction is fairly simple. The auction process only takes about 20 minutes in general, whether you're selling a $20,000 house or $2 million commercial property. Let's talk about closing. Once your auctions happen, we typically give the buyer about 30 days to close. Once the property is closed, the title company will wire your funds right to you, or if you're closing, they'll hand you a check. If you'd like more information, please call or email, or you can look at our website, ohiorealestateauctions.com.